very good evening to all of you, and we are bringing you the live news updates from ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation, the national English news broadcast on ChannelEye. I'm Hariya Veeravardhana.
And I am Thilina Udayaratna. Coming up are your headlines for tonight. The President instructs officials to launch a mobile vaccination service immediately for those who cannot leave their homes. Sri Lanka gets 1.5 million doses of the Moderna vaccine. Sinovac has been approved for emergency use in the country. The Wildlife Department emphasizes that reports stating of a destruction to the Yala National Wildlife Park are completely false. The Prime Minister instructs to cover more dramatists through the Preksha insurance.
On to news in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa instructed officials today to launch a mobile vaccination service immediately for those who cannot leave their homes due to various reasons. The President gave the instructions during a special COVID Prevention Committee meeting this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. Vaccination program island-wide has been accelerated. However, it is a problem to vaccinate the groups who cannot leave their homes. The President pointed out the need to launch vaccination programs soon for them with the assistance of medical officers of health and public health inspectors by giving information even through special telephone numbers. It was disclosed that highest percentage of COVID patients and the number of deaths during the past few days of those who have not received the vaccines. Therefore, the President pointed out the importance of educating the public on vaccination and encouraging them to get the vaccines. Ministers Prasanna Ranatunga and Rohitha Abegunawardena said that those who are above 30 years in the Gampaha and Kalutara districts can be vaccinated within next 4 days. Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that vaccination at investment promotion and tourism zones has been completed by about 90%. Therefore, he said that there is a resurgence in those sectors. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa instructed to provide the opportunity for anyone employed at any sector to get the vaccine at any convenient place. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi said that COVID patients were successfully treated at Ayurveda centers. He said that no one has died after being treated at those centers. Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana emphasized the need to conduct a special research on their speedy recovery. The President pointed out the need to encourage teachers and students to take indigenous medicine to improve immunity after commencing of schools. Parliamentarians, state officials, armed forces commanders, the IGP, health authorities and a group of people were present on the occasion.
1.5 million doses of the US Moderna vaccine were brought to the country this morning. The US government has donated the stock of vaccines through the COVAX facility. The consignment of vaccines has been brought to the country by a Qatar Airways flight from the US through Qatar. The US Ambassador Elena B. Teplitz handed over the stock of vaccines to Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi at the Katunayaka International Airport. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga, State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana, US Aid Director Rich Ackerman, Deputy Head of the US Embassy Susan Walk, WHO Sri Lanka Resident Representative Alakas Singh, Chairman of the State's Pharmaceutical Corporation Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Health Dr. Lakshmi Somatunga and a group of people were present on the occasion.
Witnessing the arrival of 1.5 million doses of Moderna vaccine straight from the United States and our national stockpile from the American people to share with the people of Sri Lanka. Really grateful for the support of the government here, Minister of Health and all of the colleagues and State Minister who've made this possible. So thanks. We're very happy this morning to be part of Sri Lanka's COVID success story.
On behalf of the government of Sri Lanka and people of Sri Lanka, I would like to thank the United States to send us this donation of 1.5 million doses of Moderna. It's mRNA-based vaccines, almost like Pfizer, and it shows very high efficacy, almost 93% efficacy, and it's widely used in the United States. So we will send this stock of Moderna vaccines to Kandy district to complete the vaccination process there at the Kandy.
And I would like to take this opportunity because we had so many discussions with the US government, the American embassy, as well as the Sri Lankan embassy in Washington to get this thing done. And after so many discussions, the White House and the State Department has agreed to give this donation through the COVAX facility to Sri Lanka. And I think that's a great achievement as far as the Sri Lankan population is concerned and as far as this pandemic is concerned. So I think we should thank the State Department of US as well as the COVAX facility for providing this facility to Sri Lanka. Thank you.
We are just supporting Sri Lanka in its amazing effort to ensure vaccination to everybody over 30 by August. So it's not just the vaccines that we have supported through the COVAX facility, but also the supplies that are required to roll out the vaccines. We really appreciate the United States' efforts in providing these vaccines and strengthening the COVAX platform, which UNICEF and WHO and our other partners are really focusing on as a critical platform to ensure equity in vaccine availability. Thank you.
6,804,481 vaccine doses have been given to the people so far. The first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine was given yesterday to 280,011 people. The second dose of the vaccine has been given to 27,117. In the meantime, the Pfizer vaccine has been given to 7,993 yesterday. 1,701,730 vaccine doses have been given during the last 7 days and 315,121 doses have been given yesterday.
Meanwhile, travel restrictions have been further relaxed from today. According to amended guidelines, religious places can be kept open. Guidelines for religious festivals are scheduled to be issued separately. Zoological gardens and wildlife parks will be opened. Only 25% capacity of the people can be admitted at once to zoological gardens. Permission has been given for sports competitions and team sports except for sports that could lead to the spread of COVID-19. Children's parks can be kept open. Permission has been given for guest houses and hostels. Music shows can be held with only 50% of the capacity inside halls. Permission has not been given for outdoor music shows and carnivals. Director General of Health Services Dr. Assala said the relaxation is not valid for isolated areas. Further information can be obtained by logging into www.runews.lk website. Health authorities have issued amended guidelines for those who are arriving from overseas. Accordingly, those who are arriving in the country after 2 years will need to submit a report in English confirming not being infected with COVID-19 by a PCR test conducted 72 hours before the arrival. They will be sent for another PCR test between 24 and 48 hours after arriving in the country. It should also confirm that they have not been infected. For those who are arriving from a country without travel restrictions and after getting the 2 doses of the vaccine do not need the PCR test scheduled to be done on the 7th day. A Sri Lankan or a person with dual citizenship or a spouse of them have obtained permission to arrive in the country from a country with travel restrictions. They will be subjected to compulsory quarantine even if they have received both doses of a vaccine. They will be sent for quarantine at a government-approved center for a hotel. They will be subjected to another PCR test on the 14th day. 1,079 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. Meanwhile, 918 patients left the hospitals today following recovery. Director General of Health Services said that 41 COVID-19 deaths were reported yesterday. Train and bus services operated for essential employees between provinces have been temporarily suspended from tomorrow. A limited number of buses and trains will be operated from the 1st of August for the public. Director of the Health Promotion Bureau, Dr. Ranjit Bhatwantwa, said that Sri Lanka has received 9 million vaccine doses so far. He said that the country will get 14 million doses of the vaccines.
Sri Lanka, we are doing fairly well in vaccination program compared to many other countries, and so far we have received over 9 million doses of vaccines to the country, and they have been used, and we are expecting to receive over 14 million vaccine doses over the next 2 to 3 months. We have done a considerable coverage of vaccinations in the Western Province and especially in the Colombo district. This will be continued, and the aim is to get a maximum coverage of the population with the corona vaccination. And we received Covishield AstraZeneca first, and then we got the Sinopharm vaccines, Sputnik 5 vaccine, and Pfizer. The Moderna vaccine is quite similar to Pfizer. Both of them are mRNA vaccines. They have to be stored in -20 refrigeration. What we have to be very careful and conscious is, irrespective of the strain, whether it's alpha or delta, we have to use the same preventive measures, that is wearing the face mask, keeping the hands clean, and maintaining at least 1 meter distance. That's the important thing. And irrespective of having travel restrictions, we have to maintain, whether there are travel restrictions or not, we have to adhere to our basic corona preventive measures.
Consultant eye surgeon Dr. Deepani Vevalvela urges adults to visit the hospital for regular diabetes retinopathy screening. She further added that it is important for patients to follow necessary health guidelines when visiting hospitals for treatment.
Children face due to online education system, it is important to take a break in between classes or during classes. The teachers are supposed to give this break. Using the phone in between classes for other purposes like group chatting, playing games, watching films, etc. Using any screen in between times should be reduced. Regarding vision screening in children, which has not been happening due to the COVID pandemic, Vision 2020 has already launched it program where teachers will be given webinars on how to screen vision of children who are working in the online groups, and also some form of vision screening app for the children. Also for adults, it is important to come to hospital for your regular diabetic retinopathy screening, at least when you have problems. And when you are in the hospital, it is important to maintain all the correct health habits to prevent COVID spread while in the OPD premises, or when you are admitted to hospitals. It is very important to keep the distance, wear the mask properly all the time while in the hospital also.
Chairman of the Tower Hall Foundation, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, has instructed relevant officials yesterday to make available theatres under the foundation for a nominal fee to stage dramas from the 31st of August. The Prime Minister gave the instructions when the Board of Trustees of the Tower Hall Theatre met yesterday. Accordingly, dramatists can get the Tower Hall, Elphinstone and Rukmani Devi theatres for a concessionary rate from 31st of August. The Prime Minister gave instructions to develop Sarasavipaya building next to Elphinstone Theatre as an 8-storied multi-purpose building, giving priority to promote cultural affairs. He also gave instructions to cover more drama artists from the Preksha insurance implemented by the Tower Hall Foundation from next year. It was disclosed that Bulat Sinhala Galloy multi-purpose building, which was built at a cost of 150 million rupees and opened in 2019, has been abandoned without using. The Prime Minister instructed to take over the building to achieve objectives under the Tower Hall Foundation. It was decided during the discussion to continue all island school drama competitions in Sinhala and Tamil languages. State Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka, Colombo Mayor Rosi Senanayaka, Prime Minister's Secretary Gamini Senarath, Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Shasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Professor Kapila Gunawardena attended the meeting. Minister Namal Rajapaksa says that the youth community should contribute for food security by making the country self-sufficient through organic cultivations without toxins. He expressed those views while attending the inauguration ceremony of Smart Gardens yesterday. National Youth Services Council has launched Smart Gardens program with the aim of encouraging youth for cultivation activities to coincide with popularizing the use of organic fertilizer. The inauguration ceremony was held yesterday at Boralasgamua, Rattanapitiya. The website to register youth for Smart Gardens competition was launched on the occasion. Agricultural equipment was donated to youth on the occasion in connection with Smart Gardens program.
The Australian government has donated a multi-day trawler observation system for the Marine Protection Authority. The first set was presented to the President this morning at the Presidential Secretariat by Australian High Commissioner David Hawley. The observation system can be used to prevent illegal fishing, ensuring security of maritime borders of the Indian Ocean, and to prevent human and drug rackets, and to rescue fishermen who meet with accidents. The system includes 4,200 transmissions to be fixed in boats, equipment and satellite technology for an observatory. The value of the system is $5.38 million. The Boat Observation Center is scheduled to be set up under the Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Department. Multi-day trawlers are in possession of 1,250 such transmitters fixed in 2015 and presently out of order. The High Commissioner paid his attention on the request of Minister Douglas Devananda to update these boats. The observation unit will help to improve fish and fisheries-related export processes according to international standards while strengthening the people-centric economic policy. The President pointed out the importance of the observation system for Sri Lanka's ocean protection due to its special geographic location. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa thanked for the continuous support given to Sri Lanka by the Australian government. The Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, State Minister Kanchana Wijesekara, state officials and a group of people were present on the occasion.
The company in charge of construction says that no artifact will be damaged by the pilot project to remove silt in earth from Tissamaharama tank. They mentioned this during a media briefing at Tissamaharama yesterday. Silt and earth are removed with the aim of increasing water capacity of Tissamaharama tank. It is being done under the government's middle-term investment program to renovate large-scale irrigation schemes and to renovate 5,000 rural tanks. It has become difficult to provide water during Yala and Maha seasons to farmers in Tissamaharama area due to silt in the tank. Therefore, the company was entrusted with the project to remove silt without removing water from the tank. The project has not caused damage to any artifact or an archaeological reserve. An archaeological officer has been stationed full-time to observe renovations to the tank.
The website apavedamahathir, which contains information on 20,000 traditional and registered indigenous doctors, and the Suvadarani International magazine were launched today. The function, organized by the State Ministry to promote local medicine, rural and Ayurveda hospital development and community health, took place at the Temple Trees with the aim of taking the traditional medical system to an international level. Information on indigenous doctors and the opportunity to contact them for various illnesses can be done through the website. The website has also provided an extension to observe facilities and the local Ayurveda hospital system. The Suvadarani tri-monthly international website with information on the indigenous medical system was launched on the occasion. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi presented several copies of the magazine to the parliamentarians who were present on the occasion. The magazine is scheduled to be distributed among the world community through international airlines, shipping companies and embassies.
The 7th procession of Kataragama Assala festival parades the streets tonight. The 6th procession paraded the street last night. The procession commenced at the auspicious time of 8:12 p.m. The procession went to Valliamma Devalaya, performed traditional rituals and returned to Mahadevalaya through Main Street, concluding the procession. For the first time after being appointed Basnayaka Nilame of Kataragama Devalaya, Dishan Gunasekara took part in the procession yesterday. The procession included up-country, low-country, Sabaragamu dance items and dance unique to Kataragama procession.
It has been decided to conduct the Billang Assala festival under health guidelines and with the participation of only a limited number of people. The decision has been taken when the Precision Committee met yesterday. The cup planting ceremony for the Billang Assala religious ceremony is scheduled to be held on the 18th of next month. The Assala festival and procession will be held from the 23rd to the 29th of August. The commemorative Dhamma sermon of late Venerable Billang Sri Somarathanathera and late Venerable Professor Billang Vimalarathanathera is scheduled to be held on the 23rd of August. Following a Dhamma sermon on the 25th night, the flower procession will commence on the 27th of August. The water cutting ceremony and God's almsgiving will be held on the 29th of August.
Funeral of the Chief Prelate of Kota Gatama Rajamahavi Hariya, late Venerable Beralapanatara Dharmakirti Sri Ratanapala Thera, will be held tomorrow at the temple premises. His remains are lying at Gatama Rajamahavi Hariya. Venerable Beralapanatara Dharmakirti Sri Ratanapala Thera performed an immense service to propagate Buddha Shasana. He was the second Sanganayaka of southern Sri Lanka of Malwatu chapter of Shamopali Mahanikaya. He has rendered a significant service for the betterment of the society.
Senior Sinhala language Professor Vimal G. Balagalla, who is also an expert on Eastern languages, passed away today at the age of 96 years. He was a founder lecturer at the Sri Javardhanapura University and had worked for 32 years at the Sinhala faculty. He became the Dean of the Languages faculty in 1964. He was the chief editor of the Sinhala dictionary and performed a significant service on the origins of the Sinhala language, promotion and its history. He followed a postgraduate degree at the University of London. Professor Balagalla translated into Sinhala linguistic characters of Sinhalese written by Professor Geiger. He performed an immense service by writing several books on the origins and evolution of the Sinhala language and several other classical books. The final rites are scheduled to be notified later.
And on sports news, 2 sportspersons who are taking part in the Olympic Games in Japan left the country today. They were under quarantine in a biobubble. Niluka Karunaratne and Tehani Godavela left the island today. Several more sportspersons training abroad are expected to arrive in Japan within the next few days. 9 Sri Lankans have qualified this time for Olympic Games.
Well, that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great night.